there's something here that you're not being truthful with in this whole picture here. You know what I'm talking about?
Let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I mean, the fact that your body's covered with tattoos. I don't see any tattoo. Oh, see, there we go.
There you go, man.
You got all prim and proper for this interview, but there you go. That's more like
you want to do it.
just like that. Just like that. You can cross your arms just like that. All right. See, there we go. Now we're real. There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. You know, people always say, Chris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Entrepreneurs in Finance, where we explore the daily lives of Cctg graduates and lenders. This episode, I'm very excited to interview our guest here because we did a testimonial, I want to say 2 years ago. He did a testimonial for us where we took our cameraman and, captured a day in the life of what he's doing. But now I get the pleasure to interview him one-on-one here with our podcast. So I'm pleasure to welcome Dave Kawaja of First Touch Consulting. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Chris. It's good to see you again and hear from you.
I know you're in the hot seat now.
My buns are burning. Let's do it.
No, it's long time no see. I know you had your journey was interesting because you went through class, but then you came back, right? You came back to class for a refresher, which was cool. So I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But what I want to start out with is, I'm going to start out with this question. I'm going to call an audible here, Joe, because I don't do this, but I'm going to just call it out. I mean, there's something here that you're not being truthful with in this whole picture here. You know what I'm talking about?
Let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I mean, the fact that your body's covered with tattoos. I don't see any tattoo. Oh, see, there we go.
There you go, man.
You got all prim and proper for this interview, but there you go. That's more like
you want to do it.
just like that. You can cross your arms just like that. All right. See, there we go. Now we're real. You
got it.
You can take off the ties. So listen, I appreciate you coming on here. I know you're busy. You're busy running a business. You don't have to do this, but I highly appreciate it. What I want to start out with is, what did you do prior to investing into Cctg?
It's a fun story.
You a bouncer of a bar or what?
I said, no joke. I bounced from when I was 20 till I was about 33.
Did you really?
I did. And my wife's like, you're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
So that was always kind of like my side gig. I'm the kind of person that always runs 2 to 3 jobs. I've got, different income streams coming in. And I was previously working for Harley Davidson out here in Utah and selling motorcycles. And I had one of my customers was just buying bikes left and right for his customers, for his partners, for his friends. He even bought one to put in his house as artwork. So I got smart one day and I said, what do you do? Right. He told me that they owned an equipment finance company here in Utah. So the light went off and I said, I want to do what you do and make that kind of money. So shortly after that, they brought me in for an interview, said, give 2 days notice. We want you to start next week. And I did. And I got in working with an equipment finance company, dialing for dollars and making the money work. And then I had a light bulb go off and said, you know what, Dave, you need to do this for yourself and service more customers. Because we were turning down loans that didn't fit our credit box, working with $25 million revenue companies. So anybody that had 16 million, 17 million, 20 million in revenue, we were turning. And I thought, I need to go capture those clients. And that's when I looked up some classes, found Cctg, started First Touch Consulting, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. That's a pretty clean story. I mean, so you were here selling bikes, which I imagine is one of the passions of yours, right? I mean, you like riding bikes.
Absolutely. I'm a big motorcycle fanatic, Harley Davidson lover. I mean, there's a HD with a bar and shield on my knuckles, you know. I'm a Harley guy through and through.
Let me ask you something. If let's say if somebody shows up to like buy a Harley or like a group, you know, like you guys get to ride together and they have no tattoos, are they as credible or not in your mind? Like the rest of you guys look at them and go, "You're full of shit. You don't, you know, you're not into Harleys. Do you have to have tattoos to ride Harleys?" That's what I'm
Not
asking.
at all. Funny enough, you know, being out here in Utah, you know, home of the LDS Church, and we get a lot of riders that are from every walk of life. Some of my best friends are, you know, hardcore 1%ers all the way up to the CEO business owners, you know, and I had really good clientele in both aspects of it. So it's really a wide variety.
But I'm saying okay, all right, I get it then. But I mean, there's got to be a little bit of street cred, right? When you got some tattoos and you're riding a Harley, and you know what I mean. I mean, I don't know. That's
when I was working at the bar, I had some patrons come up to me and said, "Hey, there's these young guys that are probably 21 years old, first time in a bar," and they said, you know, they're trying to hit on us. Why don't you teach them some pickup lines and give them a little bit of confidence? I said, look, grow a beard, get tattooed, and ride a Harley. You never need another pickup line in your life.
Would your wife agree with that?
She's my wife, so yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. All right. Well, no, I love it. I love it. So you transitioned to working for somebody that owned a finance company, and then you realized they were limited. I mean, the business model was limited because it only focused on one aspect of the credit model, right?
Yeah.
And then so you said, hell, there's got to be a better way to this, right?
That's exactly it. And from, you know, when you're behind a big nationally ranked company, you can call Coca-Cola, FedEx, whoever you want to, and get in the door. But when I started First Touch, man, I was a little fish in a big sea, and I couldn't get phone calls, couldn't get meetings, couldn't get past the gatekeepers. And I thought, you know what, I need a little something to put me above my competition. And so I did. You know, I started, you know, looking up the classes. But one of the biggest things is when I was out there and I called myself an equipment finance broker, I realized business owners needed SBA loans, commercial real estate loans, line of credit, and I didn't know how to service those. And that's where Cctg came in, because it gave me every aspect of a full financial business to bring to the table.
Did you look at other places too, or did you know, when you investigating to go through a training, and if so, what made you pick us?
I did. You know, I looked at a company in Colorado. I looked at a couple others that are out there in New York. Finance is heavy in New York. You know, why not go out there and be with the heavy hitters that really make the moves? And, you know, to be fully candid with you, one of the other groups that I was looking at were trying to get me in the door like in a week. And they're like, hey, we'll cut down your fees and your class 50% so that we can get you in. And I thought, man, this is one hell of a way to save some money, but am I going to get the full support that I would and all the knowledge that I would going from somebody like Cctg? And so for me, it wasn't the money. It was more so what you guys bring to the table. I'm all about quality over quantity.
Quantity, yeah.
I'm all about quality over quantity, and that's what was the big decision in coming to Cctg.
And now, and so you attended what month and what year?
So I was in November of 2018 is when I came through. No, sorry, November. Yeah, it was November 2018 is when I came through.
Okay.
The first time.
All right, the first time. So what did you think the first time? What did you think of the training? I mean, you were,
man, I was blown away.
You were in a live class, so.
Yeah, I was blown away. You know, I looked at it and did my research and did my due diligence on the schedules, what you guys taught, who came in. Mm-hmm. And I went there prepared, like, I think I bought like 5 notebooks and a whole, you know, bunch of pens to come in and take notes. And it was class for me. I knew I wasn't there to mess around. I was there to learn as much as I could and get as much information out of it as possible and apply myself. And I was getting back to my hotel room after, you know, the 8-10 hours a day sitting in class. and I was writing notes and I was going through everything and I was reading up on lenders and I was, Googling different processes of what the loans were and really just trying to understand as much as I could about it.
So you didn't go out and party with the rest of the grads and drink and no, that's good.
Bunch of yahoos anyways.
Yeah. You're consider yourself fortunate because now it's like, we don't have that. We have virtual, which we've got that down really, really good. But, that's one thing I miss is, just the energy of everybody in the room. You know what I mean? We're going to get back there this year. We are, but yeah.
I think you guys have done a great job adapting, especially seeing how many people can attend virtual like that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when you're in a room and you get to joke around and tease Mac and then, have John tell you some of his stories, there's nothing like that.
No, I know. We missed that here. We definitely missed that. So you went through training. Obviously it was a whirlwind for most people. It is, in a good way. When you got back home, first of all, you're a married guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was your wife so did your wife attend the first time or no?
She did not. No, it was just me.
Just you. Yeah. So was she how was it? I'm sure you went home. She's like, so you spent all this money, how was it?
It's kind of a real rags to riches story because when I left working for the national company and started my own, we had just built a home a year prior to that, 2 years prior to that. And we decided, hey, let's go all in with this thing. So we sold our house, we paid off all of our debt.
Wow.
And we moved in with my wife's parents, basically in their basement, getting this business up and working.
Wait a minute. I forgot about that. Hold on a second. I remember you told me that the second time you came here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So hold on a second. So you guys sold kind of all your possessions, your house, your debt, got rid of your debt prior to coming here. You attended here and then you were living in your parents' basement.
That's it, man. You hear it all the time and it almost sounds cliche, but we literally did that to get our business up and going.
Wow.
Luckily, my wife trusts me enough and my vision on what I want to bring to the table that, she backed it. She was skeptical, I'm not going to lie, but she trusted me in it. And man, it's paid dividends for us. It really has.
Yeah, I bet it has. We'll get to that in a little bit, but that's an awesome story. You know what though? That's motivation because who the hell wants to live in their parents' basement, right? I mean, that's motivation for you to get the hell out of there and do well.
Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. I put my computer on the couch. I worked, in the living room, making phone calls, sending out emails, really trying to get my name out there as much as possible to do all I can to get in front of, brokers and agents and title companies and all that. And
Did you at least get free food?
The food was great. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No rent, free food. It was awesome.
At least I get something out of it. Well, that's awesome. So tell me about your first year. I mean, so you started to get up and running. What were some challenges? What were some triumphs? I mean, tell me about that first year.
Yeah. So the biggest deal was I thought, okay, now that I have all this ammo to work with in my arsenal, I'm going to go and get everything. And I focused literally on everything. I was taking calls on MCA deals. I was taking calls on real estate deals. I was taking call on equipment deals. And honestly, it ran me ragged that first, 6-7 months, because even though I had all the tools, I didn't know how to use them, and that's where a big part of, my community, finding out what works here in Utah, our market. And I joined up with one of our local chambers of commerce.
Right.
And, they offered sales classes, finance classes, media classes, the whole shebang. And over the first 6 months, I kind of, figured out what am I doing with my business and how can I make this work best? And I took a class, which was an Accelerator Academy, almost kind of like a mini MBA that focused on my business personally. And that's when the real light bulb went off. It's instead of going out and trying to sell individually to a business and find out what they need, I need to go and sell to banks and all their turn downs. I need to go and sell to commercial real estate agents and fund all their clients and take that off of their back so that I can do it for them and bring a value add into my business. And once I started doing that, man, the floodgates opened up and we have deals coming out the wazoo right now.
That's awesome. And so your first year, was it fairly successful?
It was, yeah. I can honestly, and I'm going to plug this real quick. In the Chamber of Commerce that I was a part of, you think, you go to lunch, you might network with people, and that's that. I can trace the testimonial that I did with you when I closed an $11.5 million deal was in that it was 7 months after I graduated from Cctg.
Wow.
And I got it from the first chamber lunch that I went to. I met with a banker who referred me to a real estate agent, who referred me to a title company, who referred me to another real estate agent. And that's where that deal came from. And it took 7 months to finish, but you never know where it's going to go unless you continue with it.
Well, so you took what we preach in class and did it, and that's the result. I mean,
absolutely. And I turned it into focusing on just a couple of key products. I knew I could make really good money in real estate. Equipment had really good turnover and quick funding, and SBA. So those are the three main key components that we work in, and it's been great.
You closed the $11.5 million deal. What'd you make on that, if you're not shy about saying?
I made 1% on that deal.
1% of that deal. All right. That's good. Not bad for 7 months into it.
Hey, within the first year, I mean, it definitely paid off.
It paid off. I mean, it got you out of your mother's basement or your parents, your parents or her parents' basement.
Yeah, you got it.
So now you move into your second year. So it seems like you were rocking and rolling. Did you come back in the second year? Was it your second? Okay. So what led you up to coming back to Cctg?
So, we were able to put good presence out there in the market, get some deals closed, have some money behind the company now. And I'm like, well, let's hire somebody. I know that there's a lot about working with, referral partners and having them bring the deals in. But I had, a really good partner who was just graduating with his accounting degree, wanted to move into finance, was a very close friend of mine. And, so we brought him on and hired him full time. And I thought, well, let's have you attend Cctg too, because it did so good for me. And if you're going to be my salesman, let's put you back in the class. So we came out February of 2020, right before COVID hit and closed everything down. Yeah. We were probably that last class for you back then.
And what actually, February was the last class.
Yeah. And so I wanted him to experience everything that I learned and have all of those assets for being a part of First Touch as well. And I thought, hell, why don't I go back and get a refresher myself? Because I know you guys are always introducing new lenders to the table in different industries. And it was always good to hear from them and see what was new.
And so, and we always invite people, they can come back for a refresher, but you took advantage of it. You brought someone with you, right? And you guys attended the last in-person class. And so now the next question, which you imagine is the pandemic hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I like to say, I've heard people that are watching this, watch other episodes. I sound very repetitive, but it's important to note. The pandemic was the first economic hiccup of our graduates' history because we started in 2009, right?
Yeah.
And economy was getting better year after year after year. So it's the first kind of crisis that our graduates had to learn how to navigate through, which you're totally equipped to do that based on the business model, but you just need to know where the opportunity is. So how did COVID affect your model? And if so, how did you overcome, the COVID woes and kind of pass through that?
Yeah. So, November hit,
March,
February hit. We thought we were going to get stuck on a plane in New York. Luckily, we were able to make it out and get back home before airports got shut down. And then we have a new salesman who's in this market who, how do you go sell to people when businesses are getting closed up and nobody knows what's going to happen? Luckily, we had a couple of real estate deals that were closing Q1 and Q2 of 2020. So we had money coming in to the table.
Right.
So we literally from March until June, those 3 months, we almost shut down all of our new, I want to say new clients or so forth. And we strictly stuck on helping our local community out here in Salt Lake City with PPP loans, navigating through the EIDL loans. I mean, we were doing daily webinars and Zoom calls and podcasts to get as much information out there live as it was coming through from the government on what resources there are to take advantage of. And honestly, we did it pro bono. Like it wasn't, we weren't charging anything for it. We just wanted to put as many resources out there as possible. And now that we're into 2021, it was almost like the best marketing scheme I could have come up with, because we wanted to help for free and get people to keep their doors open and not close down and still have a business when the dust settled. But the exposure that it gave us doing that on all these calls and chamber meetings and community rallies, it really got First Touch out there in the Utah market. And I owe it all to that, you know. So we were fortunate enough to help so many businesses apply for the PPP loans, apply for the EIDL loans, and be successful getting those, that they were able to keep their doors open through that time. And since they've been able to stay open, and, you know, some of them have grown, some of them have stabilized, we've been able to do loans for the companies that have grown into new spaces, new lines of credit, new SBA loans, and so forth. So it really has helped out a ton.
You know, big time. So that, and not only gave you exposure in those 3 months, but also repeat business. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys kind of navigate, and that's the beautiful thing I talk about the model, is that, you know, people really, a lot of graduates didn't appreciate, or I shouldn't say didn't appreciate, but they didn't really pay attention to the model they learned and bought until when they needed to. Meaning, like, you know, I got a lot of emails from graduates saying, wow, you know, I didn't appreciate all these products we have, but now that COVID hit and some products kind of got, not gone away, but some products got paused for a little bit. But now other products, there's a world of opportunity like PPP and, you know, the SBA. Now you have to, the beautiful thing about the model is they said, we didn't realize how dynamic it was, where you could shift to where the market is and still stay afloat. And it sounds like you guys did that to perfection. I mean,
yeah, you know, we took a lot of hate mail. You know, you guys are loan brokers. Why are you guys trying to take advantage of people? What are you guys doing? Because people don't understand what we do in the finance world.
Right.
And, you know, luckily enough, we were able to navigate that and say, hey, you know, yes, there's people out there that do it, but we're here to help. And I think once people understood that, you know, one, we're not going to charge you for services during this time, adds a little bit of credibility to what you're doing. And you never know the amount of products that you have in your arsenal, like I talked about earlier, that you can use. And that's one of the huge benefits of CCTG, is you're not just hitting one industry, you have access to any of them when that time comes.
Right. And you have to be able to execute and go where the need is. You know, you may have to switch up. We had a ton of graduates that stopped doing real estate because, you know, some of the real estate products put a pause on everything for 2 months, and they had to do something else that they didn't think they would ever do. But the point is, they had the ability to do it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that brings up a good point, because, you know, we take a lot of phone calls from new students that come into CCTG, people that are, you know, doing due diligence on the class. They'll see our testimonials or, you know, see posts on LinkedIn or so forth. And they reach out to us, and I accept all those calls because it changed my life. It can help somebody else. So why not share that info? But, you know, you hear from people that, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know how to do that, or how did you, you know, navigate through this situation? And you really, like, CCTG is there to help you with all your tools, not do the work for you. You've got to put in the work to do it. And so that was the huge part for me. I knew coming into it, I had to do the work. I couldn't rely on you guys to sell for me. I had to do it. And you only do that by getting out there and talking to people.
Right. You have to go out and practice, and you're going to lose some. You're going to win more than you know. Hopefully you lose, but yeah, you have to just get out and do it. I mean, yeah, you're going to fail. You're not fail, but there's going to be some clients that don't pan out, and you may say the wrong thing the first couple of times, but you have to do it. Right.
Right.
When we start new, you're going to do some things that are wrong. Hopefully not as many, you know, because of the fact you've attended the training, but you're still going to make some mistakes. That's realistic.
Yeah. And what I told, you know, my employees and my team here is, there will always be a next deal. Always. Without fail, there's always a next deal. And it might be bigger and it might be better, and sometimes it's not, but there will always be a next deal to work on.
How many people do you have on your team now?
So I've got one salesman, and then I've got a marketing director as well, who basically puts us out there in social media and all that. And, you know, so it's a team of 3 of us, and we're doing great. We're doing just great.
And you guys are working out of your homes, I think?
Working remotely. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got a home office here. Sometimes my salesman comes in and works with me here, but mainly, you know, we're still going out and doing meetings. I would say probably 85 to 90% of the loans we service are here in the Utah Valley.
Okay.
So we're doing handshakes and we're seeing projects and we're going to job sites and we're having face-to-face meetings with our clients and putting that handshake behind it and getting deals done that way.
And what types of deals are you doing these days? Like in terms of product segment? Real estate?
So we're doing, we really focused on going after refinances, just because, you know, if you've done a deal 5, 6, 7 years ago, more than likely you're going to get a killer rate right now with everything that's happening.
Right.
And so we've been doing a lot of refinances. We're doing a ton of SBAs, real estate purchases, business acquisitions, lines of credit within the SBA. And then we're still doing a lot of equipment finance as well.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Do you find that, here's a weird question, but do you find that when you go out and meet people personally and like they see the tattoos, you think that's like, you think they get intimidated or they don't take you seriously? Honestly, you know,
honestly, it's always a question that's in my head, you know, because I'll wear a suit when need be, you know, but I'm more of just kind of a casual dresser. And so when I go out and I'm doing these meetings, I get the looks all the time. Like, this guy's going to help me. You know, this big rough and tumble guy is going to help me. But by the time we start sitting down and talking through the process, why a business is in the situation they're in, what their growth is looking like, and we can have a knowledgeable conversation with borrowers, all that goes out the window. And, you know, back to the deal we did in 2019 when we closed that $11.5 million deal, after I had the borrower sign my service agreement to continue working on this deal for him to get paid, he asked me, he's like, I've got to know what your story is. You know, so we ended up talking for another half hour afterwards about my tattoos, a little bit of my upbringing, what got me into the finance world. And, you know, here's, you know, a 60-year-old gray-haired business owner that's, you know, financing this amount of money. And he's like, oh, I ride Harleys too. I've got 2 bikes. And we start talking about his Harley collection. And next thing you know, we're closing on his deal a couple months later and going out and riding motorcycles together.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, and it's kind of like a business, right? Everybody has a story to tell. Mine's just a little bit different in the financial world.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great story. Do you find that, you know, do you find that most of your clients you're meeting in person? Because it depends how you market, or a lot of times you'll never see the borrower in person.
There's a lot of times we don't even see the borrowers as well, because you have, you know, Zoom, you can do email and phone calls. And quite honestly, you know, some of these deals that you're working on, people don't have the time to, you know, go out and do that kind of stuff. And so I would say it's kind of 50-50. You know, we're so busy here in Utah that we might not be able to, we just don't touch some of the other markets that are out there unless they come through our doors. That's just how we work here.
That's just how you work there. Yeah. What's one thing that annoys you about this business?
A lot of phone calls from these high interest rate lenders. Hey, sell my money. Hey, sell my product.
They're calling you to sell the
They're
product.
calling us. Yeah. You know, because whether it's, you know, Google, LinkedIn, you know, however you find us, you know, people always compliment our website. Oh, you guys are so professional. The website looks so good. Here, I'm a lender in this network. I'm a lender in this industry, and you can make so much money off of a deal. I personally understand that there's circumstances for those type of loans, but that's not what we specialize in. Right. And we've had a lot of clients that we've helped pull out of those situations for high interest loans, and we do all we can to stay away from those. So if I could just have like a robo answer, you know, to say, hey, stop calling me, that would be that'd be the best. Yeah.
I mean, once you're in the industry and you're doing things and you're on LinkedIn, yeah, you'll have people reach out, other lenders reach out to you. Some good, some not so good.
Right.
What do you think is maybe one of the biggest mistakes you made getting into the business, like that you wish you would have known now, and maybe pass on to somebody that's maybe watching this interview that's thinking about getting into the business?
Send an Excel spreadsheet to Alex.
Okay.
sooner
Yeah,
than
there
later.
you go. Yeah, sooner than later.
You
So
know, I
shed some light on that. Where does that come
right.
from?
So in class, right, they talk about, they'll build a website for you. You do some marketing. You're getting leads coming in, and anytime you make a contact, put it in an Excel list and send it in so that they can do all of your marketing, your email marketing for you.
Right.
And I didn't even think about that at all. And so I didn't have emails that were getting sent out until I came back the second time around for class. And you asked a question, what's the most important thing to do in class? And everybody was striking out. Nobody had the answer. And you looked at me and you're like, Dave, I expect you to know this. And I'm like, I don't know. And it was send your Excel spreadsheet of your contacts to Alex so that they can get all of that information out and do your email marketing for you.
And what do I say? You may as well not even be in this business if you're not email marketing, because you're wasting your time meeting people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's the best way, most cost efficient way to stay in front of them.
Yeah. And if you're going to networking events, whether it's with a chamber or a BNI or whoever it is, you're going to get so many cards. Type it up, send it off every single day if you need to, because it works.
So were you like, when I said that, were you like, uh-oh?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, shit. I just wasted a whole year even email marketing,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a funny story. It really is. Yeah. And I guess that's a good point, because maybe you would have had a even more successful first year if you were doing it right. Who knows?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And you paid for it, so why not? I mean, we do it. You have to go out and do your part, but we'll do it, as you know.
Well, that's the thing. It was a service that we pay for. Why not do the work to do that?
Yeah,
it makes sense.
All right. So now comes the time where I'm going to ask you some. I already started the podcast with a quirky question, but I'm going to ask you a few more. You ready?
Yeah.
Well, if you never found Cctg and you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing, you think?
I'd still be selling and riding motorcycles every single day of my life. When I started working for Harley Davidson, I thought I was a lifer. I was going to retire there. That was it for me. I was in an industry that I loved, with people that I cared about. Customers become family, and I absolutely loved everything about that motorcycle industry. It's funny though that the right person will lead you along into a new journey that you never even know if you're willing to make the jump.
And you still ride motorcycles, right? I mean, you
still do, yeah.
Ride motorcycles.
Yep, still do.
Here's another one. What would be your dream job? If you could just transplant yourself to be anybody or do anything that you want to do in terms of a job or a career, what would it be? Anything.
I've
training or anything.
I think Joe will appreciate this. I've really gotten into doing a lot of cinematography and videography. Here in Utah, we have so many national parks, Moab, Zion's Canyon, and I did a lot of off-roading and camping last year, getting out, and just fell in love with the art of creating videos and content, because you can make people feel a certain way by a certain image or song that you put together. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me on stuff that I've published, and it's cool, so I think that's something that I could do just carefree. If the finance world were to crash and there was nothing else, I'd go pack up my camper and hit the woods.
That's awesome. Do you ski?
I don't. Funny enough, I don't ski or snowboard. No.
Man, all right. Well, because I do, and I was gonna say, if I come out to Utah, if you could hook me up with any cool tidbits out there for skiing, but you don't ski, so.
But I will, and I'll put on a pair of skis to go down the mountain. You'll just have to deal with me fumbling around myself.
Yeah, I'm surprised, man. I'm surprised, but it is what it is. What do what's one thing, if you could look back at what you're doing now, what's the one thing that you love above everything else about what you do?
The customers that we deal with. I'm a people person. I think that's why I love closing deals with a handshake and being able to meet people, because it brings a certain personality to a deal. Mm-hmm. And every deal is different. I think that's what I love about this, is every deal is different. And so you're going to get into a whole new set of borrower, a whole new set of business, a whole new set of asset class or property that you're helping finance, and all of it tells a story. You know, when you've got a person who has a dream and they put their business model together, and then they're growing, and then they need, you know, equipment or real estate to achieve that, and then become an owner for themselves rather than leasing out property to somebody else. It's almost like you're helping make dreams come true. And that's what I love about it. You know, the people and the stories behind what we do on every deal is amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to give you a chance to kind of turn the tides now. Ask me, is this a section where you could ask me anything? I always say, speak now or forever hold your peace. You get one chance. There it is.
Okay. You're on the hot seat.
What is it? Go ahead.
So, you know, one thing that's always great about when you're looking up Cctg and you see all these testimonials and you do the website and you do your due diligence, and then you get to class and you get to see Chris in person. You can tell, you know, you're a successful guy. You've built a successful business. It's nice to be a part of that on the student end of it. But do you have a mentor that helped you get where you're at now to help your dream come true?
You know, someone already, it's actually a great question. And I get it. Someone asked me that, you know, and you're probably going to be disappointed. But the answer really is no. I know, I hate to, I wish I could find somebody to say that. When I say a mentor, did I have an active mentor in this industry? No, I did not. I figured it out the hard way. Unfortunately, and the expensive way. But if you ask me for a mentor, you know, do I have a mentor, people that I've mentored just in business life? Yeah, you probably heard me say it, but it's Andrew Carnegie. I mean, you know, I've pretty much read all his books and philosophies, and you know, and I think anybody, no matter if you're going to start a plumbing business or you're going to start a finance company, you could take those principles and apply it to any business. So that was, you know, that's what I would consider my business mentor, or at least role model, and just his philosophy of life in general. I'm a huge fan of. So, and I subscribe to that. So did I have a role model in this industry? No.
Okay.
I wish I could tell you something a little better than that, but that's it. That's
yeah. Yeah. I was thinking Mac was going to be my mentor, but he didn't want to step up to the plate.
Yeah. Mac's he's an old dog. You know what I mean? He can't teach. Yeah. He's great, very knowledgeable and good at what he does. But yeah, I'll make sure I'll tell him that.
I appreciate that.
Anything else?
Yeah. I'm going to grill you. I got two more questions for you. So one of them, if you weren't doing finance or doing what you do with Cctg or the marketing group, what would you be doing right now?
Easy. That's easy, man. You got to come harder than that. That's easy.
I said I've got two.
Race car driver.
Yeah?
I would absolutely be a race car driver. You know, F1, definitely. I if I could like transplant myself without the talent, the skill, the training, and automatically be really good at it, it'd be an F1 driver all day long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adrenaline junkie.
I mean, that's, and you know, I love cars. I love cars. Yeah. I've talked about it before, but I would definitely be a, if I could, I mean, I can't because I'm not, you know, I'm not at Lewis Hamilton's level, but yeah, I'd be an F1 driver.
Awesome. Yeah. Third one, this is a big one. I know that you guys have had a lot of success with, you know, going through COVID and bringing classes virtual and the setup that you guys have in your new office. I absolutely love it. So the big question is, what is this yearly broker show with NACLB going to look like this year?
It's live, man. We are live, and we know we are on Vegas like nobody's business. I mean, every week we get a report. Vegas opened up now to 50%. I think, well, they increased their capacity, and I think it's only going to go up. So we're at Caesars, man. October. We are there. Yeah. We're not, we did virtual last year, and it, you know, virtual is virtual in terms of a conference, but, yeah, I think people want to get out. People want to be alive. I think by then the vaccine will be pretty mainstream. At least that's what the sentiment is. Let's hope. And so, yeah, man, I think we're going to be rocking and rolling in October. Hopefully you'll be out there.
That's what I wanted to hear.
You have no excuses. You're close.
I've got none, man. I'm looking forward to it. That's why that was my big question. I want to know what's going on.
Did you go to 19's conference?
I didn't. I actually had a baby that same week of the conference, and so I wasn't able to make it.
How's the baby doing?
She's good. Yeah, she's good. We've since had another. So I got two more little girls, and then we're having a boy here in a couple of months as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 3. Knocking out.
That'll be 4 total. Yeah, that'll be 4.
Are you done for that? You guys done or? Yeah. Good idea.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good idea. But that's motivation, man. Now you got to close some deals.
Sure is. Yeah. My wife wants a bigger house and a newer car, so we'll keep grinding.
Well, look at the worst thing is you have to move into your parents' basement again. Well, now 4 kids.
Luckily, we're way past that. Now it's just on to bigger and better things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I noticed the We Love Daddy. Is that say We Love Daddy up there?
Yeah, We Love Dad. Yeah, that's a couple years ago. 2 of my kids did that for me with their handprints on there.
Yeah, right next to the Cctg certificate. I love it.
That's it, man.
Love it. Well, listen, man. This was great. I mean, all good things have to come to an end, but this was great. I enjoy seeing you again. Always pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you in October in person. We are going to.
I'll be there. I'll be there. Give me a mic. I'll inspire some crowds.
Yeah, we don't know who the keynote is yet, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
I'll keep an eye out.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thanks for taking calls too for some of our grads. I do appreciate that because I know you did the same thing when you were looking into us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if there's a plug to put at the end, I'll say this: call people. The CCTG community is great. People open their hearts and their knowledge to help out the next student coming up through the class. And like I said earlier, it absolutely changed my life. I'm on a course that I never thought 5 years ago I would be on. I'm in year 3 of my business, and it's completely changed my life and my team's life around me. So make the jump. If you're thinking about it, do your due diligence and make the jump, because it's definitely worth it if you apply yourself.
I appreciate that. It's a good way to end the podcast here. All right. Well, everybody, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it and found some insight. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have monthly content that comes out, and don't forget to download our CCTG app. Did you download the CCTG app?
I have. You guys actually put my face on there. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Well, hey, you're doing something right if we're going to put your face on there, right?
What a good idea. There's such good content in there for people to just have so quick without jumping on YouTube. You guys were top notch on that. You know what?
We're actually making, it's not only for future people. We're trying to give a little insight. So what we do is we go live doing training. So people get a little taste of what to expect on a virtual basis. But we're working on building out a resource end for existing graduates to tap into as well.
Awesome.
It's an evolution, but there's always something going on here. You know that.
Yeah, I logged into that first live training that you guys did.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a new lender. I need to get in touch with that lender and find out what's going on with him.
Well, hey, you could always take the virtual again.
Yeah.
If you want, you could take the virtual. That's always, you could be a 3-peater instead of a 2-peater.
Yeah, tell them I'm going to be calling them next month. We're going to be on it.
Training section next week. You could be on it next week if you want.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
That's it for this episode, guys. Catch us on the next one. Thank you.
There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Chris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business.